What's up, everybody? Extra Million here once again with Totally Sick Final Fantasy VII Edition, and this time we are running through Mount Corel and Cosmo Canyon. Mount Corel is Barrett's hometown. It used to be a coal mining town before Barrett convinced everyone that they should build a Mako reactor there. This was obviously before he knew that Shinra was a bunch of evil badasses. So everyone, of course, kind of hates Barrett now, including his long-lost friend Dine, who you see in the middle there on that couch. Once you learn a bit more about his backstory, you take this tram up to the next area, which is the Gold Saucer, which is sort of like this area that's a collection of mini-games. It's where you can get Cloud's level 4 limit break, if you were going to do that. It's also where you'll meet your next character, a sort of robot Moogle cat combination called Kate Sith. Or I think the Japanese pronunciation is Ketshi, but I'm just saying it how his name actually looks. The only real reason that we'll be collecting him is because he's useful in a few fights, a few boss fights later on in the game, and because he has the very useful Manipulate Materia. It's a command materia that allows you to take over an enemy if it actually succeeds, and then use their attacks. Not only is it useful in fights just for eliminating an enemy, but we'll use it to get a few enemy skills that are not normally used on you. So we enter the Gold Saucer, and Barrett gets all pissed and runs away. And then we meet up with Kate Sith. And then we start going to different areas, and people have these reports of a man with a gun arm that's killing people. So since we seem to be associated with him, Dio, who is the guy who controls this whole area, throws us in Coral Prison, which is just below the Gold Saucer. And then we confront Barrett, and he says it's not him that did it, it's actually Dine, who just so happened to have the same operation that he did, only his gun arm is on his other arm. And the only way to actually get out of this area is to win a Chocobo race, but in order to be entered into the race, you have to get something from Dine, so we have to go fight him. But first, we'll use Manipulate on these Deathclaw enemies to gain the attack Laser. It's a gravity-based attack that takes off half of the target's HP. Since it is gravity-based, it can obviously not kill you, because it works in percentages. So this is Dine, and you'll initiate the boss fight against him. He has 1200 HP, and he's not particularly difficult, except for the fact that Barrett has to fight him by himself, and you can't heal yourself. I actually get pretty lucky here, and he misses his first attack. You'll usually always want Barrett to get the first attack, otherwise you may not have enough health to survive. You'll want to use Big Shot twice, Flamethrower once, and then 2 physical attacks. This will take him down to around 600 HP. Once he drops below 600 HP, he will enter an attack mode where he will use 2 attacks in a row. Obviously, you cannot survive against that kind of onslaught for very long. So you'll want to get him as close to 600 as possible without going over, and then use Beta twice, which, even with his very high magic defense, will do almost 400 damage to him, which will basically just end the fight. I also get pretty lucky here in that he misses another attack, because once you kill him, he has a 50% chance to use a finishing move called Molotov Cocktail. So if you obviously don't have enough life to survive that, then the fight was kind of pointless anyway, and you'll have to try again. So now he'll start double attacking, and then I'll use Beta one more time. Luckily, he does not use Molotov Cocktail, even though I had enough health to survive it. Once we beat him, we can go and do the Chocobo race, and then once we win that, we will have access to the world map, and we'll have access to a vehicle called the Buggy, which you can still get in random encounters on the world map, but it does move you around a lot faster, and it allows you to traverse shallow water, so you can actually take a shortcut back to a few areas. One of the places that we'll visit is Costa del Sol, and we will go back there to get on the ship and pay someone to take us back to Junin. And then once we're in Junin, we will pick up a few enemy skills, one of which is from a big owl bird enemy called a Zemzalet. He has a healing ability called White Wind that we need. Then we'll go back to the Gold Saucer and the beaches, and we'll get from these beach plug enemies, we'll get Big Guard from the Costa del Sol beaches, and then from the desert area surrounding the Gold Saucer, we will get an ability called Aqualung from this harpy. So, once you get all of those enemy skills, you are free to proceed onto the next area, which is Cosmo Canyon. Once you get there, your buggy will conveniently break down, so you're forced to go to Cosmo Canyon itself to continue the story. This is Red 13's hometown, so you'll get to learn about his backstory. This is his grandfather, Bugenhagen. He's sort of a scientist. He'll tell you about the planets and the life stream. And then he'll sort of send you on like a spirit quest for Red 13. Which means Red 13 obviously has to be in your party. Choose to bring Eris along with you, because she's obviously the only other useful character that you can have that will heal you and restore all of your MP. You'll need to have her under Fury for the boss fight of this area, and to do that, just exit Cosmo Canyon until you fight this enemy called a Ski, and just use laser on it, and it'll cast an attack on you that uses Fury. This is an enemy called a Stinger. You will have to fight 2 of these before you fight the boss. Have use laser and beta and then a physical attack in that order. It will use Stinger Bomb on the last 2 enemies that attacked it, which would be Cloud and Red 13. Have Eris defend after that, and then just wait for him to kill both of them, and then kill it with Aqualung. So once you kill one, just run outside and save and restore all of your health and all that, and then just come back in and do it again. And then obviously stay at the inn one more time before you fight the boss. This is the boss of the area, Ji Natak. He sort of looks like this like Japanese shaman enemy. He has 5,500 HP, and he's not particularly difficult, except for he has a very strong physical attack that does around 300 damage, even if you're in the back row. And he has these little soul fire enemies that are around him, which can cast the very powerful Fire 2. The fires have an ability called Take Over, which they will inhabit the body of one character, which means that every attack that all the enemies do that round will basically be directed towards that character, which means you'll need to use White Wind to heal every turn. White Wind is very nice because it restores all of your character's HP based on the amount of the caster's current HP, so if Cloud uses it and he has 500 HP, it'll heal all of your characters for 500. It also gets rid of pretty much every status effect in the entire game, and it's also useful because it affects your entire party. It does cost a lot, though. It costs 34 MP, which is why you'll need to be using Aerith's Pulse of Life to restore your MP quite a bit. Because Gene Attack is a undead enemy, he can be harmed by healing items, which means White Wind will actually hurt him for the amount of your character's current HP. So it sort of works in reverse. It also heals the Soulfires, which makes sure that you don't accidentally kill them and gain any unnecessary XP from them. The only other attack that you really want to use on him is Beta, because since that's fire-based, it'll hurt him, but it'll also heal the Soulfires. Other than that, he's not a very difficult boss. He is immune to gravity-based attacks, which means you can't just use laser on him, unfortunately. Obviously, do your best to keep Aerith alive, because she's the only one who can revive your characters. Red 13 is not really a priority. Cloud obviously needs to stay alive because he has the other enemy skill. At the beginning of the battle, you should just have Red 13 sense Gene Attack's HP so you can keep tabs on it. Now what you really want to do is basically just wait until the Soulfires have used up all of their MP. They can cast Fire 2 10 times each. Most of the time they'll waste it on casting it on themselves so that they restore their HP, even if they're at full health. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. So mostly this battle is just dragging the fight out until they all run out of HP. You can try to end the battle earlier, but getting all of your characters dead except for Aerith, who you need to survive, and not having her get killed by either the boss or Fire 2 from the Soulfires is kind of risky. It's just easier to wait until they run out of magic. Since I've got a bit more free time, I can probably talk about the other enemy skills that I gained. I already mentioned how beneficial White Wind is. The only downside to that is that it does heal your entire party, so it can be kind of difficult to get all of your characters dead except for the one that you want to survive, because your only healing options at this point are spells that affect your entire party, whether it be Limit Breaks or White Wind. The other ones that we got were Aqua Lung from the Harpy, which is a water-based attack that's very powerful. It hits the entire enemy party, so not much to say there. The other main ability that we got, that you can actually use in this fight if you want to, is an ability called Big Guard from the Beach Plugs on Costa del Sol's beach. Big Guard affects your entire party, and it allows you to simultaneously cast Barrier, M-Barrier, and Haste on your entire party. It costs quite a bit though, it's 56 MP I believe. But the fact that you can cast all three of those spells at once on your entire party is very useful. You could use it in this fight if you wanted to, just to reduce the amount of healing that you have to use. Otherwise, this fight is not too difficult from any of the other boss fights that we've done. Basically just get Gene Attack down to where one attack will kill him, and then kill off your other two characters. You can see here I kind of try to do a failed attempt where I have both Aerith and Cloud use their limit breaks, or not limit breaks, enemy skills to try to kill both the characters that I need to be dead, when I really should have focused on using only just Cloud to do it, because obviously then I have to use Pulse of Life and start back over. So I should really just focus on using Cloud to kill one character at a time. Both the Soulfires should now be out of MP, so they can't really do anything. The only enemy that can actually hurt you is Genetok himself. Now, ideally, to end this fight, you would already have a limit break with Aerith built up, and then you could just use Planet Protector to give her enough time to kill the boss. And as I mentioned before, as you can see, healing attacks do damage Genetok since he is a undead enemy, which does mean that you could use a X potion or a Phoenix down and kill him in one move if we were allowed to use items. It's just one of the ways that this challenge is different, is just because most people usually just brush off this enemy since you can kill him that easily, but we have to fight him fair and square this time. So luckily he killed Cloud right after we damaged him, and then we can just use White Wind on him and kill him. So that wasn't too difficult. And then we learn a bit more about Red 13's father, how he actually sacrificed himself to save everyone in their village. And Red 13 makes a passionate speech about how he's going to be a super badass in the future. And that's pretty much all for this area, and I will see you guys next time.